Hi, I'm Judge Desire for Knowledge. Thank you for joining my show, Know Your Truth Real Talk, here on Saturday, December 22nd, 12 to 2. I'm coming with you in a tape. I possibly won't be able to actually um, have this recording up by 3 p.m., but I am doing it now because I have so much going on. Christmas is coming and travels and events, and so I'm gonna have to upload tape instead of going live. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna miss you guys. I miss my lives, but I plan to do a live eventually really soon. And so please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for all the new subscribers and those viewing the videos I've put up on my travels. I'm out and about travels. I have Know Your Truth Real Talk. These are talk shows. And I also have Legal Matters on Legal Matters, where I actually try to bring you as much information, informative stuff that I can on the legal aspects of whatever my topic is. So, and that's from experience. I am not an attorney or a judge, and so, but I do have the background experiences with them side by side. I work with them and even officers at some point. And so I bring what I can through my own legal matters, whatever basics, and I try to bring to you. So let me move on because the basics is in legalese so that you can understand it because I'm a layperson just like you, most of you who watch me. That means you're not an attorney. And so legalese is to better inform us on the basics before I get to the real deal. But either way, I hope it brings you a lot of questions answered. So today on Know Your Truth Real Talk, I explained in the description box that this is something that is not mostly talked about, and so I wanted to bring it to the forum. Can you remain friends with an ex or not? The question of the day can be actually the question of the day is always something that um, is can we remain friends with our exes? Yes or no? Well, depending on the relationship between the two of you, when you separated or broke up, is how you can determine or decipher if it would be something that you can trust to continue as friends. However, you would need to determine that on your own and based on using your own wisdom, discretion, and because not everyone is for you, although they may act like it. So these kind of experiences, most of them are things that I've seen happening, I've experienced through friends, workers, co-workers, and other things. And some may be my own, but I will never let you know which one. But most of us are forced to, because of children, to be in relationships, and even if it's not friendships, we're forced to be friends with our partners that we have actually committed to by having children, or have obligations, I should say, by having children with them, or growing or owning property together and things like that. It may differ for everyone. So you put it in your shoes and you see if it works for you. But this is a talk show. Know Your Truth. Real talk does not mean that I know what I'm talking about. It's the facts. It's not facts. It's my opinion. So yeah, I know what I'm talking about, but it's my opinion from basically experiences I've seen through relationships and other things. Sometimes it's employment where I work, the families that come into the court system, and family court, and every court I've worked in, civil court, criminal court. I will bring to you the experiences of what I've seen there and make my content based on what I've known, experienced, and what I'd like to help other people with so that they can see it for themselves. And if you don't like this video, there's other videos I have that may assist you in your topic that is something you'd look forward to seeing that resonates with you. So I have experience seeing both ends, and so I have created a pro and con list of whether remaining friends with an ex establishes a healthy relationship. to be in after it terminates, because it's not everyone's story, is what I should say. Please like, share, and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to like. There may be that person out there that really needs a hand and stuff but can't find my channel, and I would love for them to find it. Actually, I'm here to help others, our self-improvement and self-empowerment channel. So if you come here with negativity, this is not the channel for you. This is not the video for you. There's a lot of those videos on YouTube that you can go to besides this one. I'm not going to put people down. I'm just going to be real. And part of being real is letting people know that there's a positive to every side and every story, and there's a negative. I'd rather keep my channel positive towards helping people, grow. So one of the pros and cons, pros here is having an honest and genuine relationship between one another. Okay, so I have experienced both sides, I said, and after all, if a relationship, the pro and con list, remaining friends with an ex, it establish a healthy relationship to be after in. I'm sorry, I have experienced seeing both ends. I have created a pro and con list. I'm sorry, I'm rushing because I have an event and I have to actually get this up. So let me slow down and start over again, because I made some notes in case I not forget, but in case I lose content, establishing what I want to talk about and go off somewhere else, because that happens with people that create content a lot, and we just want to be natural. Well, at least I do. I don't want to look like I'm so model perfect and that I don't make mistakes. No, we are human. We're gonna make the mistake. I like to share my mistakes with you when I do. So this con list and pro list is about remaining friends with an ex. Does it establish a healthy relationship to be in after it terminates, right? We don't know that, but we'll check it out. Let's check out my pros and cons. All right, so one of the pros here is having a solid, honest, and genuine friendship between one another that can enable you both to move on to date or even marry someone else. Now that is really important, because sometimes you do that and you have a scorned lover, whether female or male. I've seen it in the court system. People take people out in different types of ways. But you both understand if it did not work out for the both of you. It's called maturity when someone can do that. So the maturity level on this aspect is that two people can come together honestly and still be friends because they know it's over. It didn't work out for whatever reasons it didn't, and they can maturely respect each other, pat each other on the back, and move forward with other people. Not be behind the scenes jealous of that other person and that they didn't make it with them, and act like they're really for them, but they're not. Those, I've seen that a lot. But the pro is that those that can do the right thing are the mature ones. The con to this is a lot of couples in long-term relationships are not going to play fair, just like I said, when it comes to seeing their lifetime or long-term partner be with another person. And sometimes it will jeopardize the relationship with a new partner that they're involved with by continuing to remain in a relationship, a friendship, I should say, for selfish reasons. That's a lot of people do that, so be very careful by continuing to remain friends with an ex. Another one I felt was needed when two people start a friendship before becoming partners. It is very special. These type of friendships stand the test of time. But the con here is also that it was so great of a bond. Then if it was such a great of a bond, then why did it terminate if you became partners after friends? Okay, now that's a question you need to ask yourself. If everything was so great a bond between that person and you, then why did it terminate? There's reasons. You have to look within yourself for that. That should be the reflection on before thinking. That's what you should be reflecting on before thinking of continuing to remain friends with an ex. because sometimes moving forward and upward and leaving the past in the past is good. And for some people, it may be the person that they needed, that was their person, or divine partnerships and stuff like that, which I'll get in on one of my videos in the future, hopefully. And having a relationship, another pro is having a relationship or marriage when children are a part of a union is very special. However, many of those relationships don't last, and you are sometimes forced to stay in the partnership for the children's sake. Now, that's sad. I've seen a lot of people do it. Um, I'm not going to say I did, but I'm not going to be dishonest. In the beginning, when I first married, years when I'm still young, but I was a kid, um, I did that. I stayed there 1 year too long. So long story short, we shouldn't do that to ourselves or our children, to use them as pawns to be unhappy with people that we don't want to be with or that we're unhappy with. The children will get over it. They're going to get their own lives later and leave you. Remember that. We respect them, we talk to them, we don't lie to them, and they'll understand pretty much. They're going to be adults just like you one day, and they're going to actually have their own family, and it's not going to matter to them whether you like it or not. So, you know what? If it doesn't work for you, and get out, especially, and if you can make it work for you, then make it work. But most people are unhappy because they no longer want to be in a relationship like that where they're forced. So, especially if you have a toxic ex and who uses the children against the partner, during the marriage or even after. These are toxic people. Some of them are called narcissists, whether male or female, and they make you feel guilty for wanting to leave a toxic relationship. That's another thing. A lot of marriages do that, where they make you feel the guilt, even if it was their fault that it didn't work out, or your fault, doesn't matter. It didn't work out. You know, sometimes it doesn't. And this is why, before you have children, I suggest that people really rethink who they're having children with, but we don't think like that, especially when everything is what you see. That's not what you're going to get. So don't keep looking out there for Miss Gorgeous and Mr. Gorgeous and Mr. Perfect and Mrs. Perfect. They don't exist. Because then you're going to find out who that person really is underneath. But getting back to the subject, another one is the childhood relationship. You know, the first love. This relationship is your first, whether it is real or a pretended love. Remember that first person that you fell in love with, whoever that person is. That would be your childhood love or first love. It depends. I'm not sure for you what it was, but depending on what that is for you, it will be one that is never forgotten, whether good or bad. You're going to remember it whether it was good, and you're definitely not going to forget it if it was bad. The downside of this one is, because that was the pro, the downside is that if it doesn't work out, this is one uh, that will be either a happy memory or the worst nightmare. So let me explain. Let me explain. Okay, some will marry their first love and figure it was the worst mistake of their life, and some won't remember because of it being a relationship where you were young and smitten, so you either forgot and it was your first love, so you don't know what that's about because it's so young. Teenage years I'm talking about. That as teenagers, some of us aren't capable of maturity yet. So we are so smitten we didn't even see the person for who they really were. That's what's scary. So it's likely you either stay in the long-term friendship with them or marriage, and later to find out this person was gaslighting you. So normally some of these that relationships, partnerships, or whatever it's called, or marriages that are childhood, either they last, I've seen a long time. Some of them last if they're real and genuine. If they're not, you tend to keep these people as a friend because you know they were the first love, and that could be a mistake for you, especially if you've married them, because then you really know them for who they are, and it could be dangerous. You this person could have gaslighted you the whole time, but you were too young to realize it. These will be the ones who, as I stated to a friend of mine, they pat you on the back, you feel great, you get through these relationships that they smother you with all of this, and then later on, you find out they never had your back, So be careful of tricksters who stay in your life only to monitor what you do in the future and who you're with, and probably want to see if you're doing better than they are, or they doing better than you, because some people live for that. Unfortunately, they don't get a life of their own and move onward and forward. But sad for them and good for you if you have. If it didn't work out with them, to be very mindful if they are there for other motives. Be very mindful keeping people like that as a friend, because when you have a childhood sweetheart, or whatever you want to call it, childhood relationship, they tend to hold on to strings more than anyone because they were the first ones and they utilize it against you. I know. Personally, I've seen it. I've experienced other people that have experienced it. I've seen them experience it, and it's sad. Sometimes it can be as so sad as long-term sadness for some, where they just never date or move on in life, and that's sad. Eventually, it will all come out, the truth and the friendship with benefits that they most likely were looking for in the first place. The short-term relationship, this one is called the booty call. I can't see any pros here, but if there is one, then it would be you never have to be lonely. But be careful of those that give it up easily and that they're always on call for you, because they're always going to be on call for someone else. Believe that one. You don't want a booty call. You want a serious relationship. But for those that do, that's on you. No judgment here. But these are things to think about before you decide to do those type of things. Eventually, I've seen it in the court. You pay the consequences. Protect yourself. Use safety so that you're not pregnant. You don't get someone else pregnant. That's all I got to say about that. So that's the pro, that you would never be lonely. The worst thing is to keep this type of friendship going. All right. If it's considered a friendship. If it terminates, let it. The con here is an obsession with the person because it's only based on sex, and that's how we have obsessions when it's based on sex. You've seen those movies, Obsession and all these things, and there's a lot of movies out there like that. So basically, those are real. They really can happen. You don't know the person that you think it is when you see them, and underneath they're a different person. There's no way a friendship can be built on someone that is in it for sex, sex only, and not a real one anyway, not a real relationship. So, like I said, be very careful, because then you may have a stalker for life, some obsessed person, and usually they'll get caught up in the system that I work in, and we'll see them as obsessive, possessive, and all types of things, never letting go, never moving forward, narcissists. So you want to be very careful of these type of people, because they are out here. There are a lot out here. So, love at first sight. This relationship can last a lifetime and can last the course. If the partnership is genuine, you'll know it's destined to be, which is great. But the con here would be being conned by your partner, like anyone else, into believing it's love at first sight, but it's actually not. That pat on the back again every now and then is nice, but to find out later on in the relationship it's all a facade, that the person is not who they pretended to be, is all the reason not to befriend an ex. So it looks like we have pros here, but the cons are usually in favor of people moving on and starting anew. Leave your past in the past. That's what we're learning now. I'm just putting up these nice, pretty Christmas lights for us because that's my favorite time of the year. I love lights and peace, joy, happiness, and all of the above, and love most of all. So, with that being said, the next one is codependency relationships. All right, so this kind of relationship is when two people put up with one another because of finances together, or the same social circles, or ownership with something, businesses, whatever it may be. And they have known each other for years and are comfortable there. So sometimes we could be there in a codependency relationship because of those things, whether they're both dependent on each other or one is more codependent on the other, is how you're going to decipher if this relationship will last, which can only work in a relationship if it's mutual and not one-sided, and they both care about each other and they're both dependent on each other. I heard codependency is not a good thing for either one to be in, but it can also be codependent because you own things, you love each other, and you care about each other. But if it's one-sided, now that I believe is a problem. If solely one person depends on the other, it's quite unhealthy and most likely a toxic relationship, or can become one. So be careful of those. A person may be used by the other person without the other person realizing it, and their dependency on them is to, leech off of them, use their money, keep not bringing in anything to the table. And so this is a codependency to me in my eyes. But in other people's eyes, they consider codependency on any person is not healthy. But I'm saying if two people are codependent on each other, they care about each other, and they're bringing it to the table together, I don't see a problem with that. I do see a one-sided codependency if one person is actually depending on the other for every and all things and not bringing anything to the table. Then I see a problem there. I see a toxic relationship there. I see an unhealthy partnership there. A person may be used by the other without the other realizing it. That I can see there. And another reason not to continue a friendship with an ex. Okay. So that one, codependency, because once you leave them, I guess they become narcissists. I don't know. Most of these things sound like narcissists. But anyway, and the other one I have here is a needy relationship, which is close to codependency, but here's the difference. One where a partner is so needy on you that you feel responsible for them, and sometimes people will take this as a caring and loving partnership, but in reality, both partners are in need to feel the same in the relationship. Otherwise, one will look elsewhere for a partner that doesn't rely on them as much or is more dependent than a needy one. Be careful of keeping a friendship with an ex on this matter, because once they're needy and you're gone because it didn't work out and you've been trying to get out of it, but you feel responsible for the person, whether you have children or not, this can go both ways, then you stick in it for the wrong reasons. And this would be a reason that when you break up, not to keep a friendship with that type of relationship. Be careful of keeping that type of relationship with an ex in this matter. And so, in the conclusion of all of this, because I came up with 8, if you know of any, send me an email, any suggestions on any, or if you've known one I've skipped that you think is worth saying, I'll say it on the next show for you. I'll make a part 2. So just send me your ideas, not your ideas, because I have my own ideas, but send me what you think I left out here that relates to you, if you choose to. You can email it if it's private. My email should be there. And if not, just send me a message and I will send you my email. All right. In conclusion, we have to learn to evolve to be the best versions of ourselves before we can do anything for another. We can have relationships or partnerships with our exes, but there are things we need to address first, which I mentioned, all those things that I mentioned that are pros and cons, that you need to reevaluate before you choose to keep an ex as a friend, ex-husband, ex-spouse, ex-lover, not ex-husband, ex-spouse, ex-lover. So I don't want to say ex-wife, ex-husband, whatever. Ex-spouse and ex-lover. Why it is you would want to be in their long-term friendship with them when, excuse me, when things didn't work out for you guys. So doesn't mean that you can't have a civil relationship, but friendship, I don't know. My questions would be, why has the relationship not worked? That's what you should question yourself with. And if it did, why has it ended? That's another question you should ask yourself. Um, because we keep something that wasn't meant to end for your growth. I'm sorry. We need to ask ourselves these questions because we keep things that was meant to end for your growth and lesson in life, and sometimes we're not going to learn that lesson if we keep holding on to something that has been there the whole time, slapping you in the face and telling you without statement, without directly saying it, that this is done. This person was here to teach you a lesson. The universe taught you a lesson. You didn't hear this lesson. You're going to be repeating the same one over and over. And some people like to use their friendships with you and when they're your ex to keep a hold on you, or shall I say, to keep watching you to see if you learned your lesson, because they are going to keep trying over and over, willingly or unwillingly, with them knowingly or unknowingly, I should say. Some know they're doing it and some don't. But these are the lessons that you're being taught, and use it as a tool to seek a new beginning, whether it is be a reconciliation or with a new partner. The lesson here is the lesson of forgiveness. So you can save relationships, remain friends with an ex if that person is the type of person that can forgive as well and truly forgive, not the fake ones, not the ones that play you because you had money and they never had money, or they're not gonna work on their own, or the needy one, or the toxic one, or all those things I've mentioned in here, the booty call one, or the childhood sweetheart one. These all pertain to, you can remain friends, but be careful when you forgive them, not forgive them when you keep the friendship alive, because some of these people aren't here for your best interest. They were here only for a lesson. If this person is the type that can forgive, then that's great. Then you will decipher whether it's good for you to stay in a friendship with your ex. It is the time of year for forgiveness, so like, share, and subscribe. It is the kind of year for forgiveness, so that time of year, which I love because of that, and because I love Christmas, and as I'm going to show you, that's one of my faves. I love it. And all these lights I'm trying to show you here, really cool, right? So as we're going on with this conclusion that I've come to, I just wanted to say the forgiveness part is really good, that you can forgive as well. If they could forgive and you could forgive, then that's the maturity I was talking about earlier. It's the time of year for forgiveness. Forgiveness is also forgiving yourself, though, for allowing others to hurt you. You can forgive them and never talk to them ever again. I mean, it's really that simple. I've done that. You, you you were not their victim, so that I don't have them think that they victimized you. They were a lesson and a stepping tool to your growth. So therefore, you were not their victim. So they don't have any power over you because you were not their victim. So I'm wishing you all Merry Christmas from Judge Desire for Knowledge. Come check my other videos out. I will see you next Saturday at 3, hopefully on time, for Know Your Truth Real Talk, or I'm out and about travels, depending on my events and how they go. If I'm able to tape, or if they'll allow me to, or if there's too much music, I won't be able to, because it's hard to come up against YouTube when you want to bring your message out and get all these copyrights. So I'm not trying to have that. And so please like, share, and subscribe. I'm really happy that you joined me today and you're coming in to see this video. I wish I could have went live, but I will go live again soon. It will be a surprise. Subscribe, like, and share so it can get to the people that actually would enjoy something like this. And there's a lot of people out there that would not even know that it's available to them. So thank you for the like and share. Thank you to my subscribers for following me from day one, watching my travels videos. I'm happy to share my experience and my memories with you all. I wish you all a very happy, blessed, Merry Christmas, a safe one. Don't drink and drive. The police is out there, and if you look at my traffic on Legal Matters show, you'll find out tips on the holidays and what to do. Um, don't drink and drive. And yes, you can be arrested the weekend. Um, this weekend, I believe, yes, every weekend actually. But if the weekend, if Monday was the holiday, yes, they will open courts on Sundays. But just for criminal. That's just for criminal. But you can check my Legal Matters show. I give you tips on all of that stuff of when the courts can and what they can do when you are found drunk or not drunk or whatever the case may be. I'm going to leave it there because I got to upload this video. It's going to be a little late. Thank you so much for joining me, Judge Design for Knowledge. Like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you very shortly in a few days. Merry Christmas, everyone. Blessings to all of you. I'll see you before the New Year's. Ciao. Oh, if you see me out there, come say hi. Hola.